It's not very often when I make a build video that I say something is busted. The last time I did was with the Hunter Liar's Handshake build that we did at the start of the final shape. But quite frankly, this build on Warlock is busted. You get super quick uptime on Transcendence. You have Arc Souls out of the wazoo. You're able to keep your health up the entire time. And I was able to get halfway through soloing a Master Nightfall with attrition on. And boy, it was holding its own. I even went into some Master Lost sectors to see how it would fare. And the only thing that you need to do with this build is pick a weapon setup that will work. And it doesn't matter. This build does everything. You can run it with Barrier and Unstop. You can run it with Overload and Unstop. You can run it with Overload and Barrier. There is so many options with this build. It's insane. And I can't wait to use it in GMs. So that's why I'm bringing it to you today. I'm going to give you my ultimate Prismatic Warlock endgame build. So here we have the build. It's the similar setup that I had with my turret build, except instead of having Helion this time, we are running with Bleak Watcher and Feed the Void. Feed the Void is Devour. Anytime you get kills, it's going to give you health back, and it's also going to give you grenade energy back. It also then feeds into Bleak Watcher because holding our grenade is going to allow us to have a Bleak Watcher turret. And you can guess what exotic we are pairing with the build. That is Getaway Artist. More on that in just a moment. We are using Storm Grenade because it's going to be used in the build to make sure that we get our Getaway Artist to proc. We are also running Arcane Needle because this has 3 charges, I should say. I've been using it with the Claw quite a lot, but 3 charges will be able to unravel things and create tangles for you. There's a lot of options that you can use there. You don't need to use anything else. I just think Arcane Needle is going to help you out the best. I also use Phoenix Dive. The reason why I use Phoenix Dive more than any other ability is because it has the lowest cooldown, which means you're going to get it back even faster. And also you can use it at any point with pretty much 0 animation. You don't have to sit in a rift and let it heal you continuously. You use it and you can cure your allies around you. The super in this build, it does not matter what you run. Nova Bomb with Cataclysm is fantastic because it's just a massive ball that you can throw out here. You can also run Needle Storm if you really want to. You can run Song of Flame if you want to. And if you want even more control, you can go with Winter's Wrath. Honestly, I would just stick with Cataclysm here because it kind of feeds into the whole Void aspect. And if you are weakening things with a specific weapon, potentially, you're going to be set. The fragment setup this time round is way different than my other turret build. We've dropped all of the unnecessary stuff that kind of gets a whole bunch of buffs because we're going to get them anyway. We have Facet of Protection, which is going to give us a 15% damage reduction when we're around enemies and a lot more when we are Transcendent, which we'll be getting a lot. The crazy thing about this is that you're going to be able to suppress targets, which overloads them and also slow them as well. So this is an overload monster. We also have Facet of Dawn, so we can get that ranged Radiant, so we always have a 25% damage buff at all times. When we're also Radiant, any weapons that we have that are not anti-barrier will become anti-barrier. We also have Facet of Courage. When we have an Arc, Solar, or Void, like when we do abilities, they will deal increased damage to Darkness-afflicted enemies, which we'll be doing, funnily enough, with Bleak Watcher. We're also then going to be combining Facet of Sacrifice and also Facet of Devotion because defeating targets afflicted with stasis will grant you bonus Transcendent Light Energy. And with Facet of Sacrifice, ability Final Blows, while you have a Arc and Solar buff or Void buff, is going to give you Darkness Transcendence. And because we're going to be using this across the board, the uptime on Transcendence is insane. The exotic, of course, that we're pairing this with is Getaway Artist. Getaway Artist is going to allow us to become amplified when we convert our grenade, which is also leading into our seasonal mod, which gives us 35% damage reduction, and also having a autonomous turret means that you have an extra shot on the battlefield. And if you're in a team of 3, you're going to be able to do some crazy things with this active. And even on your own, having an extra buddy to do damage is fantastic. The mod setup on this build is pretty simple. The helmet, you can go with whatever you want in terms of an orb generation. If you run Void, you can run Harmonic Siphon. If you change the super, you can run that. If you're running an arc weapon as your primary, you can run arc. You can run solar and even run strand if you really want to, but due to the upcoming surges that we have on the Nightfalls this season, arc, solar and void are going to be the ones to go to, and I definitely think that having Harmonic Siphon on here, if you are going to be running an anti-barrier pulse rifle, more notably Graviton Lance, is fantastic. If you use one of those and you don't have to worry too much about your stats, if you've got 100 resilience and 100 discipline like I have here, then you're going to be fine, and you can have yourself either a heavy ammo finder or a special ammo finder that you can use in this slot. On our gauntlets, we have 1 grenade kickstart, we have impact induction, and we have bolstering detonation. This is going to give us our class ability back and also our grenade back, or reduce the cooldown of it whenever we do damage with our melee. And then when we do damage with our grenade, we're going to get that cure back all the time with this because of the damage going out. Once again, on the chest piece, resistances for whatever you are doing. You can even put a concussive dampener on here, or even a harmonic siphoner if you want to save yourself a couple of extra points. On the boots, we have 3 for absolution, we have innovation, and we have recuperation. Recuperation is just good for extra health. We have innovation, which is going to help reduce our grenade cooldown, and then absolution is going to help reduce all of our cooldowns, which is fantastic. You can maybe put a surge on here if you really wanted to, but it kind of interferes with grenade kickstart. Lastly, Reaper, Bomber, and Outreach are also the ones I would recommend here, because this is just going to help us get our abilities back even more. You can swap the Reaper out if you really want to and go with potentially a utility kickstart, but then it'll feed into the grenade. Or you could put on a time dilation and go with a surge. Or you could put special finisher on, so when you finish or something, you're able to get ammo back for whatever weapon that you are using. As our mods play into our artifact, these are the setups that I think are perfect. If you are running a strand weapon, then Threaded Blast is going to be fantastic alongside Elemental Siphon. The 3 that you really want though are Radiant Orbs, Galvanic Armor, and also Counter Energy, purely because this is going to allow you to get energy back for your least charged ability. With Void Hegemony, you may not get the weaken aspect as much on this, but if you use the right weapon, you'll be able to get an overshield as well. This kind of fits everything. And then Shield Crush is fantastic. You can maybe even try and get Transference on there if you take off one of your mods from here. Expanding Abyss, not really recommended with this specific setup, but if you have a Void setup, then it is going to be good as well, especially if you want to, whack on a weapon that does weaken. For the weapon setups, you can use whatever you want to help you out. Outbreak Perfected, you can use the Call, you can use Succession here and go with Indebted Kindness as your unstoppable. You can have anything that you want as a barrier, so in this case it'd be a pulse rifle. This will have overloads out of the wazoo, so you don't need to worry about it too much, but if you want to take it one step further, you could use the Call. You could also use Doom of Chelchis to be able to unstoppable stuff, and then use Thunderlord as well. The amount of options that you have, as long as this doesn't change on the right hand side, is insane. Let's jump into a live gameplay segment to showcase how broken this build actually is. So here we are in the Master Nightfall. I am only 7 levels under, but still it's the Master Nightfall. I want to showcase how the build works. I'm going to be popping this to basically freeze everything. We've got a champion right here, and look how quickly we're able to deal with the champion. I'm going to take out some of the extra enemies. I'm going to keep shooting it with rewind rounds once again. And I've already got my grenade back. There's one champion dead. I've already got the extra shatters of everything else. I've already got Transcendence, so I can keep throwing this out. I haven't even had to heal myself yet, which I can do. Gonna make sure I kill the champion. There we go. Just keep throwing stuff out. Keep putting that Sever on. Throw another nade out. Just gonna continually go and, stays alive. Shoot it with the last bit of my rocket sidearm. And now this room is clear, pretty much. I literally I'm shooting things. Everything's going to explode. I can shoot the tangles if I really want. It's not going to matter. I can just keep popping turrets. Use my indebted kindness to get Vault Shot if I get a kill. We can get Vault Shot. And boom. So we've got Jolt everywhere. Makes that super easy. Put another turret out. I've also got my super as well, so I can throw this whenever it's needed. And obviously this works quite well when you're in like a close confined area and you are playing solo. But I'm breezing here. I'm having a fun time. This is like, I haven't really got to concentrate. This is how easy it is. Like, all you have to do is play your life in the beginning. And there you go. You can, if you really wanted to, just throw out the grenade normally. You're going to get it back either way. It's not going to really matter. I've also got Transcendence again. So look, I've already got my grenade back. I've got like, I don't know, 3 or 4 turrets up already. Like, I can then pop Transcendence, throw out my grenade, throw in my extra void stuff in here, and I've also got to obviously pop this. We got a bit of a stray there. And then we just throw a grenade out, finish off all the extra stuff, and keep freezing everything. And yeah, kill the extra straggler, and there you go. That's the build. It's nuts. So after that live gameplay demonstration, you can see how easy it is to make this build work. I've been running masters with this in terms of lost sectors. I was running it with different weapon setups to see if there was an actual flaw, and a lot of the time the main flaw is the weapons that I'm using. Maybe there's not enough barrier, but you can certainly deal with overloads, you can certainly deal with unstoppables, and you can just fill in the gaps with other things. You can even run divinity if you really want to run this and get even more overload and help your teams out. It's amazing. I don't know whether I'd use this in like a raid, but if it's like an ad clear encounter, most definitely. But in GMs and in master content, this thing slaps, and I kind of want to test it in a dungeon to see how well it will do. But that being said, if you want to check out more builds, go and check the link in the description. It'll take you to my Discord, so you can go and see all of the builds that I have available, and also suggest some yourself. And as always, if you've enjoyed this content, leave a like on it, subscribe if you're new. And this has been It's Jimbo, and I'll see you guys next time.